Hey guys, why don't you come and join us on Zoom? I'll be posting a link up very shortly. Hey everybody is still online and waiting to get some information. We're about to load up the intro, the invite to our Zoom chat. So just transition over to that, and hopefully we'll see you on Zoom very soon.
Yeah, so I did the Media BTEC course back in 2010 to 2012. I wanted to find a course that was more practical, and I didn't want to do exams and stuff like that. It's perfect for me because it gave me the chance to work with kit. It gave me the chance to just learn the ins and outs of what kind of paperwork and processes you have to go through when you're putting together something for any kind of client or anything like that. I've become a content logger where I essentially was watching Premier League archive Premier League matches and just logging what was happening, which was both fun and also tedious because obviously you want to do more things. But from that, I also was, shadowing other things. So I was working with the news department there. I was doing bits and bobs on the other higher media management side of things, which then within less than a year, I was actually bumped up to a media coordinator, which is a lot more responsibility because basically everything that comes into the studios for all the different departments, you've got to look after and make sure it gets in, which is what I was doing. And then that was all in my first season there. The second season, I was actually put in charge of the logging team while also media coordinating. So that was the first half of the season. And that went very well. So much so the gaffer said it was the best looking team they had. And I had a phone call and they wanted me to try a planning role on the Premier League World Team, which is a show that's been running for years. It's like a documentary style show. It's one of the few shows, I should say, actually, that goes out around the world to all the broadcasters that we have, but also it goes out in the UK on both Sky and BT. I've been in it over 2 years now, but it's great because they must like me because they've sent me to Switzerland, they've sent me to Portugal, they've sent me to Edinburgh back in a day to do a shoot. They let me run my own shoots, cut my own features while I'm still doing the other stuff. And it's, even though I've not got that title of AP yet, which, to be honest, the lockdown has kind of ruined that because I was kind of looking to go into that for the start of the new season, but that's all gone crazy. But yeah, I've still had the opportunity to cut a lot of things and make a portfolio, which was always impressive for people who are looking in because they see that you've put this together while doing all the other stuff in another role, which hopefully when everything goes back to normal will go to my advantage. So yeah, I've been busy.
Who's the most famous person that you've worked with so far?
Sounds a bit big-headed when I say this time. The one I'm most proud of, well, the two I'm most proud of are Frank Lampard and Wayne Rooney. So basically, when Frank was the manager of Derby, straight away I knew I wanted to cover it. Even though it was Championship, it's Frank Lampard, Premier League legend, won the league. You know it's going to be a good enough story. I think I got in touch a month after he got the job, and it took me until the last month of that season to actually get it over the line. So to get that, and then it panned out so well that I managed to get everyone into Derby County Training Ground. We mic'd him up on a training session. I managed to get, I think we had 4 camera ops, a sound op. We managed to get, they'd literally give us free reign of training. So we turned up and we said, how much training can we get? And he said, just however you want, just don't get in the way. I was like, brilliant. So we had a camera following Frank with the mic. He had the mic there, so we could keep picking up on that. And then I was off with another cameraman, getting the goalkeepers training, shooting in high motion, slow mo, real time, because obviously with the documentary style, you want to kind of get it all good together. On top of that, I was also in charge of the drone. So I was working with the drone people, saying exactly what shots to want. But because I had to sort out all the health and safety stuff and understand where they can and can't shoot, I was kind of saying, right, we can go around there, but you can't shoot on that bit there. I kind of pushed it a bit. There was one shot which is used in the piece, which they were really happy with. There's a bit where Frank, he was so involved in the training, he'd have all the defenders at the back and he'd be crossing the ball in for the attackers to go with. He was part of it. So we literally had the drone hovering 10 feet behind him, if that. But because of the lens, it looked brilliant. And every time he had the ball go, we'd come pan out a bit and it would work brilliantly with the ball going and him there. So yeah, total mad day. Because then after the training, we had to sort out the interview. So we all shot into this tiny little press room that we had. I think there was 7 or 8 of us in this room, and then Frank walked in. He went, "All right." So yeah, it was a crazy day. But there's some people where, like Frank, who's media trained, who picks it up like that, knows exactly what you want, and it'll give it you. There's some people who will fight it and make you work for it.
That's ace, man. Thank you so much for talking to me today, Sam.
No worries, man.
Appreciate that. All right. You have a good afternoon. Enjoy the footy of the weekend.
So I am Emily Espinal, and we know each other from Stafford College, where I started out doing a level 3 in creative media production. I am currently 25, I do believe,
Okay.
and I was 17 when I started.
So to start with, you did a digital marketing apprenticeship, which was mostly just doing the job. Like you went through an interview process for that, I'm guessing, and you were going into that interview with a first class honours degree. Did you meet any of the other applicants? Did you find out what other people were coming in with?
I actually ended up working with one of the other applicants because they decided to do an apprenticeship at the same place in a different field. They did it was like administration work. From what I understand of it, Lynette, my boss, was describing the other applicants. They'd all come in with, they hadn't done degrees. I was the only one who'd done a degree. And I think it was that kind of background in video that made me stand out from everybody else, because everyone was coming in from college level or high school, and they'd done like written courses like English language or English literature or some sort of marketing related thing. But because the park that I went to work at was so focused on holding events like sports events, like obstacle course races, archery, that kind of thing, the opportunity to have somebody there that could make videos for all that and market it on social media, they really wanted that. So I guess I got it over everyone else because of the video aspect.
So when you were working for those guys, take us through like an average day of what you did for us.
Okay. It depends on what events were going on at the time. If I say an average day during like the summer holidays, for example, I could be looking at doing a couple of hours filming kids on the archery range or doing battle zone archery, which is where, for some reason, people enjoy this, running around and shooting each other with foam tipped arrows. So filming that on a DJI Osmo, and then going back to the office, doing a little bit of jiggery pokery with the footage, making cool social media content, writing the copy for that, and then using what I got from earlier on in the day to advertise it for the rest of the summer holidays. I thought I was going to be a director, or I think a DOP was my main goal before I started my apprenticeship. And then somehow I was persuaded by my parents, who were very persuasive, to come back and live in Yorkshire. And it was probably the best thing that I did in more recent years, because there's a lot of competition down south for marketing jobs, and specifically in digital agencies. And being in Kent, I would have probably had to go up to London for them. But obviously Leeds is a creative hub in the UK. And I found work there, and Josh found work there, my partner. And now I'm working at a digital agency. It's a small one, small but mighty, and it's really fun.
So what do you do at this digital agency now, and what are they called if anybody wants to check them out? They're
called Split Pixel. They're based in Huddersfield. I have a 10-minute commute to work now, walking, which is very nice. But they, in my average day, I'm writing copy for different clients. So rather than just being in-house focused on Betshanger Park, I'm at an agency focused on lots of different clients, doing lots of different things. And there is no like typical one day like there was at Betshanger, which I really like now, that my days are so varied. I'm doing lots of different things. So for example, last night, between the hours of 5 and 9, I was at a Indian restaurant in Bradford doing a photo shoot. So out of the blue, it's things like that that pop up that you get to do, that allow you to be creative and draw on the history of doing like photography and film and stuff like that, but also have lots of other things you can do, like writing blogs for clients, or because we're predominantly a web agency, I do a lot of writing for content for websites. But mostly I specialize in social media content for different clients.
Question, Anne, that I'm going to ask you.
Yep.
What's next for you? Do you see yourself at Split Pixel for a while in your career, or have you got sort of drive or aspirations to progress elsewhere? What's your thoughts?
So I'm quite excited about the prospect of continuing working with Split Pixel, because the one thing that really came across when they interviewed me was that there was opportunity to become more video focused and still multimedia, but have more of a focus on like photography and film, that kind of thing. And they said that if I can hold my own, because the agency I work at is very much like manage yourself, organize things for yourself. You don't expect to have your hand held. A lot of what I do is based on my own ideas. I have a lot of creative control, which I really like. But from that, they suggested that if I can sell videos to people as part of a marketing package, then there's no reason why I can't be looking at, in a couple of years' time, being the head of a video department there.
Wow.
So that would be pretty cool if I can manage that. And it's going well so far. I have done quite a lot of video for different clients, and I'm building on that. So hopefully when we've got more in the portfolio, we can push it more.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this interview with us today.
No problem.
I'm sure the insight into your life and into your work will help no end of people finding this video. So thank you so much. Okay.
All right.
And we'll speak soon.
Yep.
I was at Stafford College a few years ago. I did media production with James and Dave Hastings, Cara, all the most amazing lecturers. They're really cool. So I was there and then left and went to De Montfort University in Leicester, and I did an undergrad in media production. So it was the same kind of course. It was very similar in what they taught there. And I did the undergrad for 3 years and then graduated with a 2-1, and then that was good enough for me to do a master's. So I did the master's at the same uni, De Montfort University. The master's was in international film production, which was awesome because the first semester was based at the uni, but the second semester was based at Pinewood Studios down in London. So every week, me and my classmates got to go travel down to London. We stayed the night and we worked at Pinewood Studios around about the same time that they were doing the new Star Wars film. So that was very exciting. We were able to do a lot of, we were just spying on people most of the time we were there, trying to see if anyone was famous.
Tell me about where you're working then, so the design agency. I know that the COVID outbreak's kind of got in the way of that a little bit, but do you want to tell us what the company is, what your position in the company is, and what sort of stuff you've been doing during lockdown with them?
So I started in March. My job title is production assistant. And they're called Workspace One. They're a creative design agency in Leicester. But obviously, because of coronavirus and just the weird time that everyone's in at the moment, everything's sort of like remote working, remote learning. So yeah, we've basically just had to manage all of our meetings via Zoom now, which is weird, and I don't know how I feel about it. I'm getting better at video calls, but yeah, in regards to the work's slightly different, but it's, again, we're still producing some really awesome animations and films, so I am really, really loving the position that I'm in at the moment. It's good.
So how are you directly involved in that as a production assistant? What's your sort of day-to-day responsibilities with the animations and with the films?
As a production assistant, I'd say most of the work that I've been doing so far has primarily been sort of like project managing projects that are coming in. So it's not necessarily always film and animation, but it is always design. So it is, I always find it interesting. I like looking at just making sure things that look nice. So there's been a lot of sort of like project managing designs, a lot of admin work, which is good because it sort of makes you feel like you've got your whole life on track as soon as you start getting good at admin. And yeah, so it's sort of like a lot of meetings, a lot of discussions, a lot of ideas. And the people that I work for are so lovely. They're so friendly. It feels very much like a family there. And I've only been working there for 4 months, so it's really good. I'm loving it.
Knowing what you know now, what advice would you give to yourself when you were 15?
I think I'd say to my 15-year-old self, trust yourself, because throughout the few years of my journey, I've been constantly trying to, you know, tell myself that I'm not my own worst enemy. Whereas I used to find it really hard to feel proud of my own work. Whereas now I'm sort of easing into the, you know, not everything has to be perfect. So that's what I tell my 15-year-old self. It doesn't have to be perfect as long as you're enjoying it.
So thanks a lot for that, Jem. There's been some great advice in there and some really interesting stories with your international filmmaking course and with the job that you're doing. I'm really proud that you came from doing a media course and you're now working in media production. Like, a lot of people kind of come through these career routes and they don't see an end goal, or they kind of drift away somewhere along the way, but you've stuck to your guns and you're now working in a field where you get to take all those skills you've learned over, you know, 6 years of education after school and put that into practice. And that's really good. And I really look forward to seeing what you're going to do over the next few years.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Jem. Hey Gracie, do you want to tell us about the course that you're currently doing at college?
Yeah, so I'm doing creative media. It includes loads of different things like about the media industry, and like one of my favourite things that we did was we did a module on screenwriting where we got to like learn how to write a proper script and with like our own plot and scenes and stuff. So that was pretty cool. You got to be a bit creative there. Especially we did a thing where we had to recreate a movie scene. So as for like we were meant to do a few, but Corona. And we went. The one we did was the good, the bad, and the ugly, and that was really cool because you got to see like exactly how difficult, or like not difficult, but how like exactly getting the same scene to like repeat itself. It was just dead interesting to recreate that.
Outside of college, Gracie, what were you doing to further your career prospects for the future?
So I'm a part of a group called the NYFA, and that basically gives you the opportunity to network with people in the industry. So like obviously then you're more likely so if you need a job or something, you're like, oh, I know them, they were on this course. So that it's just putting a load of creative people together. So at the minute I'm currently making a film, which again I was meant to be filming like last month, but Corona, so we should be filming it in August. You can check it out, it's called Leaning on Water. The Instagram page is there, just plug myself. But yeah, so that's really cool. It really gives you the opportunity to like create something with a group of people who like want to be there, and also it gets premiered at the Rain Dance. Not the Rain Dance. Is it Rain Dance?
Sundance?
No, it's not that good. I'm gonna say Rain Dance Festival. Yeah, so that's pretty. When there's like a big event, like with a carpet and stuff with different industry people, so it's just really about getting to know people. So hopefully that should go into my portfolio.
Brilliant. And where have you been going to work on this?
Oh, that's been in London, so I've been going down there but it's mostly been on Zoom because
yeah
should
Okay, and how many people are working on this film, and how does that environment compare to the production environment that you have in college?
So there's 16 people working on the film, and to be fair, I'm like the most inexperienced person there, so I don't know how they let me in. But yeah, so like it ranges between like the ages of, I think it's 17 and 25, but there's like a girl in my group who like she created her own film festival and stuff like that. So I think there's about 16 of us, and it is different because you've got, whereas college everyone's like learning, like we're all just a bit, oh, what do we like, this is like everyone's very like on it, like this is what we're doing, this is what we're going, and it is a bit of a stress, like, but I do enjoy it.
We very much look forward to when you make Leaning on Water. When are we looking at it being made by at this point?
So I'm filming, we've got like a week filming in August, and then we've got like editing, so it should be premiered, I'm going to say October, I want to say, but I'll let you know.
And maybe we'll do a Zoom call on the red carpet.
Yeah, can do.
Yeah.
I'm tired.
That would be great. Okay, Gracie, thanks very much for doing this interview with us today. I'll let you enjoy the afternoon. Bye.
Bye.
What do you do for a living, Miles? Tell us about it.
So I'm a YouTuber. Okay, so I'm Miles. I've got a YouTube channel called Melee B, and I know James through Stafford College, yeah, through the foundation degree, yeah. So I play games, and people watch me play games. I'm also a streamer, so people watch me play games live. I didn't expect it to turn into a job, but that's what it is now.
How'd you go from being like a young teenager playing games to making a career out of it?
It's a bit of a difficult one because I would never say you do it because you want it to be a career. That's more of it always starts a hobby. I feel like it always has to start as a hobby, otherwise you're doing it for the wrong reasons. But it's definitely like if you're interested in like, you know, filming and stuff like that, it was always like something I wanted to try out, and I obviously started as a hobby, and it just went from there really. And I started making videos. They were very, very bad. It wasn't until like 2018 or the end of 2017 when I started my first stream, and I just did a live stream. I had like probably like 13,000 subscribers at the time. I just decided to live stream me opening a few FIFA packs, and we got loads of viewers in there, and then it just became a daily thing, and now I do it every day.
What point did you start taking it seriously and think, you know what, this could be a career, I could actually make a living from this?
It was in my last year of the course at Stafford College. Things started developing, and I was like, right, okay, it's going in the right direction. I started getting more viewership on my streams. Even my viewers were asking me what were my plans after I'd, you know, finished the course. Was I going to go on and get the full degree, or was I going to, you know, see how things went? And I just went for it. I just said I'd see how things go, and still doing it right now. So I guess it's not gone too bad.
How many years in are we now as a professional streamer?
Almost 1 year. Yeah. Well, almost 1 year. So yeah.
How do you make a living on YouTube? Like what are some of the things that you've done that's really either helped boost your subscribers or has helped you? Like, how do you get paid? Like, what's the deal?
Okay, so with YouTube, it's not about how many subscribers you have. It's more about your viewership. It's more about how many views you get on each video. So the way it works is most of the time is you get a certain CPM, which your CPM is basically per 1,000 views. So if you owned a website, you go off the CPM to say, oh, well, per 1,000 views, it's $1.50 for an advertisement. And the CPM always changes, but so depending on how many views you get, the more money you earn. But the CPM is the variable that changes depending on how many people put ads onto YouTube. So people advertise to YouTube. YouTube are like, okay, so people are checking out our website for your content. Here, have a bit of the money from it. So that's how it works with views. That's how you get money from that wise. There's also a way it works on YouTube. If you've got memberships, people can subscribe to you and then also become a member, which then they have to pay so much. But for paying that, they get like so many perks for the channel. Like I do a member only stream once a month where we just chill and get down with the members, have a few drinks and play a few games together, which is quite good. So yeah, the main income for me is probably memberships from like the community that I've got online, but views bring in quite a bit as well. And also we've got some sponsors like the guys that make these cards. They're obviously FIFA cards. These cards aren't in the game, but they're custom FIFA cards. You can get them, and I've got like a referral scheme with them and stuff. So they pay me so much a month. So yeah, I'd say there's more money in the side of getting like, you know, referrals, programs, and brand deals, but there is still money in views, of course.
If you had like a young 14-year-old saying to you, "Hey, Miles, man, I really want to be a pro YouTuber like you. How do I do it? Have you got any top tips? What would be the main thing you'd recommend?"
I'd say make sure you're playing or streaming a game you enjoy. First things first, you've got to have fun with what you're doing. You might find there's a certain video style or, you know, brushing up your editing skills. You might find, you know, a different style that you like, or some of the work's better than usual. Same as streaming, really. Like there's different kind of streams you can do with face cam or no face cam. You basically just experiment is basically what I'm saying. I'd probably say that's the best advice I can give. Don't expect results overnight, but if you're persistent enough, I don't see why it can happen. Even if one thing that happened to me, right? So many people told me, I don't know why you're a FIFA YouTuber. I don't know why you're a FIFA streamer. It's too saturated. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't get over 100,000 subscribers. and like that kind of just drive me to want to do it. You know what I mean? So I mean, I proved them wrong, but that's basically it. You just got to go for it. It's never too saturated.
Well, I wish you the best of luck, Miles. Thank you very much for dropping in
No
for
problem.
the call today.
My name is Jacob Fletcher Johnson. I am 17 years old and currently I am pursuing my dream career of social media influencing.
17 years old. How do we know each other?
You are my tutor at Stafford College. Been my tutor for 2 years, guided me through the course. And yeah, I'm quite happy with my experience at Stafford College.
As a young social media influencer, what is that job like? There's so many different ways you can be a social media influencer. So from your remit, what have you been doing that gets you successful?
So I'm particularly in the dancing genre of social media influencing. So I link with other dancers in the community, whether that's in Birmingham, London, across the UK, or international collaborations with people in the United States. And what I do is dance videos every day, 2 videos every day. This helps to build almost like an archive for audiences to come and see what I've produced. It allows brands to see what I can produce and the viewership that I can accumulate. And it's really fun, to be honest. Like, you get to do videos, what any type of video you want to do, whenever you want to do it, and it can lead to a high income if you can do it consistent enough and possibly go viral. You do have to have a stash of creativity locked away so that you can keep these consistent uploads. But yeah, it's a really fun thing to do, and if you are passionate about it, it's worth taking the risk.
You were already well and truly on the path to becoming a social media influencer when we met, when you were like 16.
Yeah.
Do you think in any way the course has given you any opportunities to develop that work further?
Yeah, so definitely with Stafford College, particularly video editing effects, such as like the lasso tool in Photoshop, and the Magic One tool. Also with theory work, when planning with scripts or storyboards or location reports as well. This helps to, I think this has really helped, especially with my music video. I didn't realize how much a script could actually make the production side of things a lot smoother. Production on set, that is. When you plan out each second of a video, and you may have and you storyboard each second out as well. This allows you to have a set vision of how you can produce these shots. You can always add new shots to the sequence or preferred shots on production.
And some great advice there, Jacob. I think you're a very centered, intelligent, and focused young man. I've really enjoyed you being on the course the last couple of years. I think you've taught me a lot about the business side of social media influencing, and that's a great thing that I can pass on to my future students. And thank you so much for this interview today. I think it's going to inspire a lot of people who get the chance to watch it. So I just wanted to say thanks for that.
You're welcome.
Hi, Chloe. Thanks for joining up with us today.
Hi.
Do you want to tell us who you are and what you're currently doing with your life?
I'm Chloe Nicholas and I'm on a digital content creation course at the minute. I used to do photography.
So how does the digital content creation course that you do now differ to what you did on your photography course previously?
There's a lot more variation. You can do a lot more different things. Although in photography you could do what you wanted to do, but definitely now you have a lot more freedom. There's so much within digital content creation that you can look at. There's so much choice and you learn a lot more.
Okay. Can you give us some specific examples?
For example, in photography, like it is photography, you kind of have to follow that aspect. But in digital content creation, anything that's digital is the work. So you could do film, you could do visual narrative, you could do anything like from marketing, advertisement to making the whole film if you wanted to.
Okay, so a bit more diversified from where you were previously.
Yeah.
Have you found have you found any secret skills that you didn't know that you had?
I guess I've been told that my design, like my graphic design, is good. I'm apparently good at making websites, which I would never have guessed. And I wouldn't have even tried to do it before I started the course. So that's definitely new.
Okay, I think that's a good thing. To have hidden talents, I suppose, more so than secret skills. But yeah, having the opportunity to use those creative skills in a slightly different way. So, what do you see in the pipeline for your future?
A lot, really. I don't really have a solid plan. I don't have a road that I want to go down. I kind of want to explore everything, every option, every path, because I don't really know what I want to do yet. But I think this course helps me to explore what I'm good at and what I could potentially do, like narrowing it down a bit more.
Okay, that's great. I think you've just come to the end of the first year of the course, and you've done a great job of that. And there's some interesting projects in the second year, and I think that's going to help you explore and open up even more. So it'll be really interesting if we do this call again in a year's time as to what skills you'll have found through doing the second year and how you're going to apply that into future careers. Yeah, thanks so much for talking to us today, Chloe.
That's okay.
Hey Josh, thanks for joining us today. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how we know each other?
My name's Josh. I'm a former student of James, Mr. Nichols. Yeah, we know each other from my days at Stafford College, I guess.
So what year did you leave the college, and what have you done since leaving college?
I left the college in 2016, and obviously doing a foundation degree, I wanted to top that up to a full degree. So I went to Manchester Film School to do my final year, which I graduated from 2017 with a first.
And what do you do for a career, Josh?
So now I work in the lighting department, mainly on TV commercials, but I do all sorts of bits and bobs, music videos, bits on feature films and TV series and bits and bobs. But yeah, it's just the lighting department for film and TV.
Okay. And can you take us through what an average day is working in the lighting department on a film shoot or on a TV shoot or commercial?
I'll go with a commercial. So a usual day of commercial. So you do it's an 11-hour day, 10 hours working, 1 hour lunch. So the whole day's 11 hours. You'll get there. You'll speak. So as a spark, you'll speak to the gaffer, and the gaffer will tell you, this is like a rough plan for the day, and just set out the store and be like, right, we need to get this set up for the first shot, and then you'll get to the van and get whatever you need off and set it up and work to his specification basically. And then as the day progresses, you'll probably split off into, if it's a bigger commercial, split off into sort of two groups ish. Like a couple of people will go ahead and pre-light the next bit, while the gaffer and someone will be servicing where they're shooting. And then and as that's pre-lit and the gaffer moves over, then you might light something else or take down the first shot and all the bits there. It's just and then at the end of the day, take it all down, chuck it back on the van, and go home, sort of thing. So I've been stepping up a little bit to gaffer some bits, and I did the Man City kit launch for next season.
You said that you gaffered on the kit launch. What is that for people that are unfamiliar with the term?
So the structure of the lighting department is the head of lighting and cameras, the director of photography, who works closely with the gaffer, who's the head of the lighting department, and they create the look of whatever you're shooting together. So the gaffer's role is to working with the director of photography. He'll have some references of how he wants to light it, and then it's your job to take that away and maybe figure out what sources you'll use and how to light it to create the image or mood that they want, as well as the technical side of it, of working out how much power you need, how much manpower you need, cable runs, what equipment's going to work best in what space that you got. You don't want to take in anything too big into a small space, or whatever it happens to be. Depends on the project. But yeah, so basically you're the technical person that works alongside the director of photography to make it happen, lighting wise.
Thanks for that, Josh. There's some brilliant stories and some absolutely invaluable advice for any young people who are watching this, who are thinking they want to get a career in film or in commercial, especially with the variety of routes that are available. I wish you well for when things start back up after lockdown, and I hope it all picks up. And I want to see your name as gaffer on a few more shoots very soon.
I would love that too. I would love that. Yeah. Thank you. It's been a pleasure speaking to you.
Thanks, Josh. Take care.
Oh, we met in a lovely place called Stafford College. Yeah, Nico was just sitting in a corner. I was like, "Yo, I know you from a friend." I was like, "You seem like a cool guy." And then here we are.
So I was just sat down in a corner, and then this like measly looking kid, he sort of came over and started just talking to me. I thought he was a bit of a weirdo, but I decided to like at least talk back, see what he wanted to say, and yeah, he actually ended up being an okay guy. And 5 years later, we lived together.
Yeah.
1 second.
How you doing?
How you doing, my
How you
friend?
doing?
Well, yeah.
What is it that you guys do for people that don't know?
So we make videos on YouTube. So we basically think of an idea, whether it's a prank or just something we can build a story around, and then yeah, we make a video on it. So there's situations where we've gone to like EDL marches, some pretty risky scenarios, and we just basically try and make the best story which we possibly can. But
It
yeah,
tries to be funny, basically, on YouTube. That's basically.
I
what it
try
is.
my best, but sometimes it works, sometimes it
You're the
doesn't.
face of the operation in this, Nico, in many respects. George, what do you do? What do you bring to the party?
Nico does a lot of the planning for the videos, comes up with the ideas, the brainstorms. I'll film it. Obviously, he's on camera, and then my main role is filming and then editing the videos.
In terms of your success on YouTube, how's that going? Like, how many subscribers have you got, and what does that really mean? Like, what does that equate to for you guys?
So we got 2 million subscribers at this current moment, and subscribers, like that's basically like how many people decide to actually subscribe on your videos. But what really matters on YouTube is like the views, and right now we're putting in like 2 to 3 million views a video. So things are going pretty well. It's going pretty well, and basically what we try and do is just keep that going, but at a consistent rate when we can.
He's been growing the channel for 7 years.
How did what you did originally change to what you do now, or did it change? Like, what would you say the process of it has been?
When I first started making videos, I was making videos like in school, so it was just like little skits on my phone and stuff, where I do stupid stuff like the effect where there's 2 of me in one room. I did some dodgy little cut in the middle of the room and just talk to myself. But then as time went on, I started putting more effort into the videos. Me going to Stafford College, it put it more into practice. So what I'd learned in Stafford College, I'd end up putting in videos myself. But at this point, I was still making type of more type of like skit type videos. And then after I left Stafford College and me and George started working together, we went more instead of skits with planning and scripts behind it, we just went, let's just build stories where in a more documentary type style. But yeah, it's definitely built over time, and it's been based off what my audience has been saying or what people have reacted well to. With me, like, it was always my dream to be like a YouTuber from when I was like 12, 13. So I used to watch it in a way of just like, this is what I want to be doing, and I ended up just making these videos. But in terms of like reaching this point, I would have never imagined reaching the point which me and George have managed to reach from the channel. And to be fair, like the houses which we're in as well, like that, it's all from pitches which we've done to like YouTube networks and stuff who will invest in us by putting us in houses and stuff. Me and George have been in like Channel 4 meetings, where they're offering us series, and we're ending up declining series because we're looking at YouTube more like as there's more views on YouTube than there is on TV. Like we're looking at YouTube as more of a opportunity to grow ourselves. Like we definitely think that the best way to go, at least for now, is on that YouTube road.
For both of you at this point, and individually, if you could take this, what advice would you give to yourself when you were in year 10 or 11 of high school? What advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, stick at it. Because year 10 is when I started my channel. And I think when you first start these things, especially when you're not getting any views or anything like that, you're putting yourself at a lot of scrutiny towards your friends, and it's very easy, I think, to stop. And I think a lot of people have stopped through embarrassment or whatever. But if it's something which you really want to do, then there's no reason why you should ever stop. And you don't know how many opportunities it can give you. Like, you don't need to be successful on YouTube for opportunities to come from it, because end of the day, you're still building a whole portfolio which can be used for many, many other things as well. Like you could send that to someone like the BBC, and they might see you as an up and coming talent and then just decide to sign you up right there and then. Like, there's tons of stuff. And if worst comes to worst, you're still getting better at whatever you're doing. Like, the progress which I made from making videos for like 7 years, I've got better at it. Like, for each video, I know what I'm doing more and more. So I'd say stick at it. That would be my advice to myself in year 10. What age is that, like 14?
Yeah, 14, 15, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, good advice, Nico. How about you, George?
It's slightly different for me, because obviously Nico has been doing this for so long. I was never involved 7 years ago when he was doing it. But one of the things, it was actually a little bit after year 10, 11, but one of the things I'd struggle to do is like take a chance on something. So when Nico was speaking to me about this, bringing a project in together for both of us, it was a very it wasn't a secure guarantee that everything was going to work out this way. But I think myself, I took a chance on something I saw that was going to go well. Like, I envisioned it and knew what I was capable of, knew what he was capable of. And I thought, two people together can bring it to that level. So, yeah, for me, taking a chance was quite an important thing I did, because I was, like I said, it wasn't in high school, but I was in a first year course at university where I felt like I was not really doing too much, and the decision to leave university was huge. And like 99% of the people in my life at that time said to me, "You shouldn't really do it, because it's not a secure job." But I'm convinced myself to take the chance and work on it, and it worked really well for me. So I think if you see an opportunity for something, you should, like, it's sort of what Nico said, but you just got to stick at it and like go for it, I think.
I think right now we're at the point where we've realized we need to get more people involved, because the amount of stuff which we're doing, it doesn't make sense for a team of 2 to do. So like, just today, actually, just a couple hours ago, I spoke to someone who I'm interested in being like a producer type role, someone who I can bounce off of with ideas and to help me plan stuff.
Yeah, that's really cool though, man. Thank you so much for doing this interview today with us.
Anytime, honestly. Yeah.